Do you want to make your chord progressions sound more beautiful? Well, in today's quick tip, I'm going to let you in on a little secret by showing you 3 different ways of reharmonizing your progressions using a technique called borrowed chords. This family of chord will give you tons of options and will take your playing to the next level. You ready to begin? Then let's go. Before we begin the quick tip today, I wanted to mention that we're having a summer special right now with up to 50% off of membership at pianowithjonny.com. To take advantage of this special offer, click on the link below. Simply put, borrowed chords are a way of reharmonizing chord progressions where you borrow chords outside of the diatonic key. So for example, if we're in the key of C major, we could borrow some chords from the parallel minor, which is C minor. So in the key of C major, the 2 chord is D minor. But in the key of C minor, the 2 chord is D half diminished. And so you could borrow the 2 chord from the parallel minor. Instead of playing a D minor for the 2 chord, you could play a D half diminished. That's really prevalent in songs like, for example, Cole Porter's Night and Day. It has that minor 2, 7 flat 5 to the 5 chord to the major 1. That 2 chord is borrowed from the parallel minor. Other names for borrowed chords are modal interchange or modal mixture, because you can also borrow chords from the parallel modes. For example, you could do C Dorian. You could borrow from C Phrygian. You can borrow from C Lydian. You can borrow from C Mixolydian. And you can borrow from C Locrian, as long as they have the same root of C. One example of this is, let's say we want to borrow from C Lydian. And in the key of C, let's say we're playing a 2 chord and we want to make this 2 chord maybe sound a little different. We could make it a D7 and borrow that from the C Lydian scale, because if you put a C Lydian scale, the 2 chord is a major chord. So we could play a 2-5-1 in the key of C, but instead of playing D minor 7, we can play a D7, which is borrowed from the C Lydian. And so we could go dominant 2, 5, 1. If you're enjoying today's video, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button below. The difference between borrowed chords and modulations is that, unlike modulations that go to another key for a long time, borrowed chords only temporarily go to a new key center. So for example, if I was playing a song like In a Sentimental Mood in the key of C major, and the bridge goes to A flat major, well, that's called a modulation because we're staying in the key of A flat major, right, for a while. But if I was to do borrowed chords, that means that we're only borrowing some chords and then we come back to the original key center. So let's say I played C major 7, F minor 7, B flat 7, and then back to C. See how I kind of went outside for a minute, but that was not a modulation, that was just using 2 borrowed chords. It's time to put these borrowed chords to use by using a familiar song, Happy Birthday, and we're going to use borrowed chords in 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I'm going to take some borrowed chords and start in the beginner stage and just do a few, and then intermediate add a few more, advanced even more borrowed chords. And to see which borrowed chords I'm using, please refer to the borrowed chord index at the end of the quick tip. Before we get into the different levels of Happy Birthday, let's just review the song in its original form. Very basic, just 3 chords in Happy Birthday, right? You all know the song. Let's just go through and play it. So it starts on the 5 chord, to the 1 chord, to the 5 chord, back to the 1 chord, 1 chord, to the 4 chord, 1 over 5, 5, 1. All right, so we're starting with level 1, the beginner level, where we're going to add some borrowed chords to Happy Birthday to give it a little extra spice. It sounds like this. All right, so let's break this down. We start with the 5 chord, but then listen to this. A flat 7 to G7. This A flat 7 comes from C Locrian, which is the 7th mode. And there's an A flat 7 in that mode. Now listen to this. We have an F minor over C to C. This F minor comes from A Aeolian, which is also called the natural minor. 4 chord in C Aeolian. Then we get to this, and we have a C7 over E. That is C Mixolydian, which is this. Because C would be a C7 in C Mixolydian. And then we go to this F minor over A flat. That's also C Aeolian because of the 4 chord being minor. And then a B flat 9, that's also C Aeolian, and then to the 1 chord. Again, refer to the chord index at the end of the quick tip so you can see those corresponding modes. By the way, if you'd like to download the sheet music from today's lesson, click the link below. Moving on to level 2 for the intermediate level, this time we're going to add even more borrowed chords. All right, so let's break this down. It starts off the same way as the beginner version with the 5 to the Locrian, which again is the 7th mode, C Locrian, to G7. But then listen to this, we have the 2 chord as a dominant. That comes from the Lydian mode, C Lydian. And then again the C Aeolian, which is natural minor. Listen to this. Ooh, C Locrian. Again, that's the 7th mode. That's an A flat over G flat. And then we have the Aeolian again. That's the natural minor. Aeolian again, natural minor. And on the B flat. And then back to C. Pretty cool, huh? If you'd like to learn more about this topic, you can check out the Passing Chords and Reharmonization course at pianowithjonny.com, where you'll find additional techniques on some different ways of reharmonizing, like secondary dominants and passing diminished chords. And last up, we have level 3 for the advanced level. This time I went all out and added a bunch of borrowed chords. Let's break this down. This is a lot of borrowed chords here. We start with the 5 chord, but then right away you hear this Lydian sound in the beginning. That's a D over C, and that comes from the Lydian mode. I love that sound. It reminds me of different movies, this kind of thing. Right, so you have this Lydian, and then you have your Locrian again, the A flat 7. But then check this out. We have a Phrygian, this E flat 7 Phrygian. So that's this. C Phrygian, and then to C Lydian, and then, ooh, I like that. That's B flat major 7, which is flat 7 in the key of C, and that's a C Dorian borrowed chord, and then to C Aeolian again, the F minor. And now we have a bunch of borrowed chords right back to back. Here we have E flat over D flat. That comes from C Phrygian to a C Mixolydian, the C over B flat, to a C Locrian, that's an A flat over G, and then to a F over E flat, that's Dorian, and then to F minor 6 over A flat, that's Aeolian, to Lydian, C Lydian, 5, and then A flat, which is Aeolian, B flat 9, which is also Aeolian, and then finally back to 1. Woof. Now that you've played the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level, it's your chance to put your own borrowed chords to Happy Birthday. So to do that, simply go to the back of the PDF and check out the borrowed chord index, and use Happy Birthday and find different borrowed chords from this borrowed chord index from all these different parallel modes. You have Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and even low Korean. And what you do is you go through and you can play all these different triads in these different modes, and you're gonna find all these different colors and go ahead and borrow those chords, put them into Happy Birthday and see what you can come up with, all right? Have fun. Thanks again for being here for today's quick tip on modal interchange or borrowed chords. I hope you had a great time. I know I had a wonderful time working with you today. Remember to always ask yourself, what is the music asking for in this moment? Take care, everyone. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels, where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.